This is Dent Digest, the podcast dedicated to all things painless dent repair. From the latest techniques to cutting-edge tools, we dive into engaging discussions with renowned dent repair experts. Buckle up for industry success stories, tool reviews, and valuable insights from individuals who have mastered the art of eliminating dents without a trace. And now here's your hosts, dent repair gurus Ryan Shutt and Alex Kukulis.
Welcome to another episode of the Dent Digest live show. What's going on, Alex?
Not much, man. Just getting through the week.
It is that
Friday.
It is cold here. Single digits.
How cold?
It's cold, dude. I've
5
never
degrees.
worn. You can go back 207 episodes, and I've never worn a freaking sweatshirt in my garage. I have the heat on full blast. It is cold.
It's cold in Arizona, man.
50 degrees.
50
That's
degrees.
cold. Yeah. Okay. Let's
Yeah,
talk.
it's cold.
You and Manny are
That's
like,
cold.
it's so cold. It's 70 degrees. Like, bro, we're using a hose today, and the water's freezing literally as it's coming out of the hose. So,
That's crazy. When you're trying to wash a car?
yeah, it's impossible to wash a car outside, right? Every car wash in the state is closed.
Wow.
They're like, our equipment can't operate. So it's cold, but
That's wild.
we got less than 5 days, and we're going to be in Florida. And they're like, it's cold. I'm going to tell you a funny story. Kevin Bird, a couple weeks ago, he's like, what's up, man? He's like, I'm just finally pulling my boat out of the water. I'm like, what temperature is it? It's like 70, it's starting to get cold. So the other morning, like 6:30, a lot of times we'll talk at 7 in the morning on my way in.
Mm-hmm.
And I texted him and I said, welcome to hell, you son of a bitch, because it's snowed there. And he texted me back and he just was laughing. And then he called me. He's like, bro, I was in bed with a heated blanket next to Carrie, and we were laughing that you sent me that text first thing in the morning.
That's funny.
It's crazy times, man. Different world. And, Josh is saying it's cold in Florida. Cold in Florida is like 70. I'll take it. I mean, the only cool thing is what I've learned.
It's going to be like 78 when we're there.
A strategic sales thing. So if you guys are doing work and you're trying to get more business and create more conversation with new customers, wear shorts in single digits. I've been wearing shorts this whole time. I made a plan that I was going to wear shorts all year long. I missed it by like 2 days last year. So everywhere I go, they're like, God damn, you're wearing shorts. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm a dent guy. I'm allowed to wear shorts. It's okay. And you just start the conversation. So if you're a shy guy and you don't like to break the ice, and just wear shorts in single digits weather.
Yeah, dude, I'll be honest. I wore shorts on Tuesday.
You don't count,
like,
dude.
You
don't count.
I have 48. I have 48, and I was
count.
miserable. Like, I couldn't get nothing done because of the wind. The wind chill was just ridiculous. It was like, with the wind, it was like 20 degrees, and I was over it.
And it's like here, it's like as soon as that sun comes up, we get a little warmth. But then when it goes back down, man, it is cold, cold, cold. So,
dude, I honestly couldn't work in 5-degree weather.
You're cracking paint, dude.
I couldn't do it.
You're cracking paint. And that's what
I've
had some mobile.
Keeping their tabs in their pocket.
Yeah, you got to do that.
And
you got
keeping them warm, and then
because
always having the torch.
Even the alcohol, right? Like,
yeah,
alcohol's not freezing. You're taking freezing cold alcohol, putting it on the panel.
You got to torch
which is
it,
making the panel cold again. So, yeah, mobile right now for you full mobile guys. I know it's tough.
Dang.
But I'm excited for MTE. A lot of new cool products seem to be dropping. I think it'll be a really good show. There's a lot of stuff going on, man. They're having the detailing competition, which sounds like it's pretty cool.
It's a buffing competition, right?
Yeah.
That'll be cool. That's the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, this is the first year. So
Do you know how many cars are going to be in it?
They're not doing cars. They're doing
Like
these
panels.
baking sheets is what I understood from what I saw.
What?
Painted baking sheets so they can regulate the depth of the paint.
Really?
Yeah. So I think every person's getting a baking sheet, and then all of them are buffing on their own panel. So it seemed like a pretty good idea the way he was explaining it on the conference call. So, but I'm excited to see everybody. I'm excited to have some beers with you guys and kind of hang out.
That'll be fun.
I need a break. My guys need a break. I've been grinding them pretty hard. And it's just fun. It's fun to catch up and see all you guys that watch a show that I've never met. Make sure you come up and say hi.
Right. Josh says the Block Hive looks like a must get. Is that Matt? That's the Dent Slayer's new hanger.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man. I think
I want to see
those
it.
bolts. I think those bolts might destroy like your carbon fiber rail or your rod.
I like to check it out.
If you have to set it up right.
I tell you, one tool I'm actually looking forward to getting is the Kiko bed cap remover.
Yeah,
that's one tool that I'm actually psyched about. That's the cheapest tool on my list.
From Ginger Bros made it, I think.
Yeah,
that's a good.
I'm excited.
Tool.
I'm excited for that.
I definitely want their. I want the mini light. I want Kiko's small lateral tension.
Mm-hmm.
What do they call it?
Power tensioner. I don't know. We got the guy on here. He'll be able to tell us. But there's a handful of stuff out there that I'm excited about. Some stuff that I can't talk about either. That are dropping the day of the show. Yeah. So, it's always fun. We do have Podcast Row that I've got organized. Pretty stacked schedule. We are going on at 11 o'clock on Friday. There should be a posted schedule. Location of it may move from Friday to Saturday. So I'm still trying to work with Sheldon on that, trying to figure out the details. The biggest problem, and I had some people reach out, the biggest problem with the Podcast Row is every space in that whole show is sold this year.
Huh.
Like he's oversold the spaces there, which is awesome. Last year where we were, it was kind of off to the side. But he sold everything they have. So they're going to make it work. They're just trying to figure out. I had some ideas that I threw to Sheldon and kind of throw him a curveball that I think as long as they can make it work with the fire marshal will be okay. But I think it's going to be a good show, dude. Just a lot of people. It's going to be crazy there.
It's going to be like the biggest show they've ever had.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
I think Kevin Berner's saying like 5 or 8,000, close to 8,000 people.
Yeah. Classes are going to be good. I speak at the Equipped Academy on Friday from 10 to 11, and then from 11 to 11:45 for Dr. Color Chip. So it should be some good information. I'm excited. I'm just popping in over at the Equipped Academy, and that was Jamie, the guy that pretty much started me with PPF, my mentor in that end. So he's got a huge booth and a bunch of new guys on his team, and he's great.
What is that called?
Equipped Academy.
Equipped.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And that's all PPF related.
Yeah, PPF and tint. They're doing some tint training. And his mentorship's priceless. I could call him anytime, and he's helping. So he's done a lot for me in my business. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited. I'm ready to go and ready to get away and take a little bit of a break. And I still have the phone, but you know how it goes. That's what happens.
Right.
So, but I want to get Danny on. There's a bunch of new products that are dropping and go through them a little bit so people can kind of see what's new on their end. He gave a little video, I guess it was last week, with some stuff that he had. So I wanted to get him on and rock and roll. So let's get him on. Let's see what he's got. What's up, Danny?
You frozen?
Good morning.
He's frozen.
Look at look how serious
I'm
his
just
face
kidding,
is there.
What's up,
I was
guys?
like,
What's going
gosh
on?
darn it.
All right, man. Glad to be
So-
back on the show again. That's for sure.
I know.
How you doing?
Good, man. Good. We just been getting ready for MTE. Been a long
Nice.
day trying to pack out them show boxes, so a lot more to do. So yeah.
You planning on leaving with less?
Man, that's the idea.
That's the
I mean,
goal.
that's the goal, right? So let's hope.
I'm
I
sure
mean,
you
from what
will.
I hear, it's going to be like the biggest show yet, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's got a lot of, like you guys were saying in the beginning. I mean, a lot going on with the detailing and PPF and stuff like that. So I mean, that show's growing. So pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My only worry with it, and I said this to Kevin Bird the other day, is we had a nice little niche show. It was a lot of dent guys, a couple detailers that were mixed in, but it was a really big kind of our thing. I just hope it doesn't go more towards like the collision
Detailing.
shows. You know, they're
Mhm.
just so grouped, and you kind of break that
Yeah.
uniqueness.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's one
So
thing that's great about the PDR community. It is unique. It's different. It's one of the best shows I go to be honest with you. So yeah. Hopefully that never changes. So we'll see.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you guys got going on? You got anything brand new that you're dropping at MTE?
Yeah, I mean, we got a bunch of stuff. Even like packing these show carts, I'm like, oh man, it just keeps growing and growing. Right. And especially with like tabs. I mean, tabs, it's almost what I've noticed is like whenever you come out with a new tab, they're just like, oh yeah, tabs are good, right? So you got a new tab and people just kind of don't understand like why you created the tab, for the purpose that you created it for, or some of the situations we run into where you might need a different tab. So and that's why I'm doing a presentation at MTE. I think it's Thursday at 1 o'clock, I believe. That's going to be tab technology revealed, right? So, gonna go over why we designed the tabs the way we do. So yeah, we got a couple new tabs that we're launching. So for instance, is going to be, I'm sure you guys have used it. I think Ryan's definitely
Oh,
used
that's
it. You've used
badass.
it,
Look at that.
Alex.
I'm going to tell
So
you who created
this is
that.
the oversize, right? So this is just so you guys can get a good
That's
visual.
badass.
Yeah,
Who
so
created
that's gonna
that?
be the gear tab, okay, which are basically these little guys right here. But what's really good about these, because we all know that,
Oh yeah.
a thicker shaft pretty much pulls more material, right? So we're like, well, how can we get a thicker shaft tab or neck to kind of not only pull more material, but also kind of focus on the center at the same time? So what we did is we kind of thinned out the face. So the face is really thin, but the shaft, of course, is a little bit bigger, right? So one, that gives you better adhesion, but also it collects a little bit more material. And typically what you see, and Ryan nailed it on y'all's last podcast about the softer high. I mean, there are cases where you need more of a sharper high. It's relative, right? Every dent's different. But if it's somewhat of a softer dent and you can get it pulled up accurately and get that softer high, for some guys, softer highs are a lot easier to knock
Yeah.
down. So I mean, it's one of those things. I don't want to say it's a niche thing, but it's one of those things. Once you truly understand what each tab does, then you start to really think about like, why did I choose this tab, right? What's the purpose of me choosing this tab instead of it being habit forming, right? You
Have
really
you
start to understand the tool.
have you tried to twist that one like we talked on the phone
I
that one
did.
day?
I did. Actually, I did
Works.
that. I think I did that. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, dude. Honestly, I mean, that's pretty sweet. So I didn't even push it down very hard. Kind of
No.
couple taps and then a
Mhm.
light twist at the end. And I see exactly what you're saying. So yeah, I'm definitely going to steal that. That was a great tip because
Who thought
think
of that
that-
design?
this design here,
Yeah.
it's kind of, when we go into the engineering room, Kevin Andrews there, the engineers are there, and we discuss like, when we come up with tab ideas, Chris White's always like, well, why are we doing this? I need to know why, right? So one of the things is if you use like, say like gangrene, right?
Mhm.
Phenomenal tab, a proven tab, has its place. But the problem is the face was a little bit thick, so you would kind of get that volcano if they overpulled it. So typically you
Yeah.
don't want to over pull one of those tabs. Those are depth reduction tabs. They're not dead center tabs. So you're like, well, how can we still get, more material, but get the center up? So, and of course, Chris was like, why don't we thin the face? And I was like, what would be cool to kind of switch it up? Our logo is a gear. Let's just make the face a gear. Maybe it's a gimmick to have the gear, but what we found out is with those gears, it hooks up, like you were saying, Ryan. When you turn it, it really gets that glue right there in those gears.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, the technology is in the thinner face and a little bit of a thicker shaft, right? That's where the magic.
We like
happens.
thicker shafts.
That's right. That's right.
So one thing I've learned, and I've kind of spent more time on it this year than I ever have before, is there's so many tabs, right? You look at all the variations of physical tabs, and I'm learning to build up to the tab that I think I need. So start with a tab to kind of get the bulk up.
Yeah.
And if you have to go to keep working your way down, it's almost like an assembly line of steps of bringing the damage up. Instead of just wailing it out, it brings it up, and it's got big lows on either side. I've slowly learned to kind of work my way down the line.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
you'll finish the dent a lot faster.
Yeah, and a lot of guys are like, well, these dead centers, they break. Well, typically the reason they're breaking is because you're being so aggressive too soon with them. Right. They're finishing tabs. That's what they're called. They're called finishing tabs. So if we, and I'm not saying, if it's a tiny little dent, then that's a dead center tab dent. But if it's anything, it's a little bit severe, maybe a little bit over $50 or something like that, or a quarter, and you're trying to yank that sucker up with a dent center, you're going to run through those kind of tabs. But if you start with like a gear tab, don't rip it up. You don't have to rip it up. Just light pull, take it off. You'd already reduced it. Yeah. Now you can come in with your dead center to finish it out. And it saves them so much time because, I watch a lot of PDR videos and I see guys just ripping and knocking down. But if you kind of if you came at it, with, like a game plan, I was like, all right, let's just kind of reduce it, then pull it up to get that little sharp hide to be able to just kind of blend it out, if you will. Right. So
definitely.
And it's really cool to see, where these tabs are, the technology in them and how they've kind of evolved over time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those intermediate tabs, and the gear tabs, man. Those two combinations, I mean,
they're great.
They work great together.
Do not grip and rip with these. That's the thing. I mean, if you grip and rip with an intermediate tab, yes, you're going to get a volcano, and you're just going to have to do so much extra knockdown work. But dude, let's prolong the life of these tabs and use them the way, they're designed. There's depth reduction at this time. That's all we're doing. Yeah. Depth reduction. Yeah. And then another really cool tab I'm excited about.
How'd you guys come up with the intermediate tab real quick?
So dead centers, the dead center super tabs, these guys, those were a little bit too aggressive at times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So these get like maximum adhesion. So guys will glue these down, and if you over pull with this, I'm sure you guys have seen it creates that pretty gnarly hub.
Super high.
You do not want that. All right. So we're like, all right, so how can we kind of bridge that gap between dead center super tabs and smaller, like intermediate tabs, if you will? So once again, we came up with these right here, which are going to be mid-range, right? So, they all have their place, and it's hard to say a definite. That's the thing about dent repair. There's no real definites because it's an art, right? It's one of those things that unless the technician can see it for itself, he can feel it for itself. It's one of those things that you can't go through a training and expect that technician to be professional. You know what I'm saying? That's not what training is about. Training is putting you on a path with the proper techniques. It's up to the technician if he wants to perfect it. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing with all these tabs. You got to put the time in. You got to use them. You got to see the shapes they create. That's what the beautiful thing about fixing dents. A lot of people, when we were going into the collision shops with these systems, some PDR guys are like, "You're going to take our jobs away." I'm like, listen.
That was a big argument
we talked about, Ryan. It's a mindset, right?
Yeah.
It's something you gotta want, right?
I love going in the shops and seeing them use it. I just had a friend of mine has a body shop, and I see online he's glued a tab and they're using a slide hammer, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I comment, I'm like, you're taking my work.
Yeah.
It's
So I
making
mean,
my work harder. Yeah,
but the
honestly.
beautiful thing is though, is these guys can now like take some big dents and get them pretty flat, right?
Yeah.
That last,
Yeah.
chitter chatter, some of them significant lows. I mean, that's what fillers for. That's what they get paid to do, right? So I tell guys, don't let that light be a curse, because now you can see all the imperfections now. One, you're gonna have to spend countless hours on your own time to be able to perfect that. I mean, if you want that, you have to put the work in. All right, that's not gonna come easy. None of that comes easy. But what this system that we have back here does is it just helps you guys to be able to get, rough out these larger dents, get you down to where you don't have to burn stuff. You know the whole,
Yeah.
the benefits of it, right? So long,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. It's all about it's that pay scale, right? So PDR technicians, you guys get paid to spend those extra hours to finesse and knock it out. Body guys, they
So-
get paid to get it flat enough. We're fillers, so it's that business model, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
all.
feel
it
like
boils
your
down
guys'
to.
whole system for the body shop is like bringing back the old metal work guys.
That's it, man. That's
You know
it.
what I mean?
That's
Like,
it. Let's put one coat on there.
that's,
That's huge, dude. If we can get it down to a
yeah,
coat of filler, that's huge.
that's huge.
I think
Okay,
the other
I
thing,
grew up in a body shop. My dad owned a
Yeah.
body shop for 32 years.
Right.
And that's how I got into PDR. He was like, you're going to do this, and I'm going to sell my body shop,
There you go.
And
That's it.
but he utilized PDR like, I mean, dude, I've tried to work for a ton of body shops in Arizona, and they don't want me to take that money. A lot of them don't. The smart ones do. Like Dave Shutt has quite a bit of good body shops in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
They want to utilize them, but that's a hard balance for a PDR tech.
well,
Dude,
I
it
think a lot of it
benefits.
is,
That's where a lot of body shops will call you, and they want their guys to do it
Mhm.
and get one skim coat, and you're
That's
good.
it. Yeah.
but I
Just
think
trying
a
to
lot of it's
save some stuff.
education.
That's
It's
it.
all
That's
educating.
It is.
I
It
think
is.
in Arizona, I'm not saying you guys haven't done a great job, because Dave Shutt's extremely good at explaining. But I think a lot of these body shops really need to be trained and explained the processes of glue and the benefits of paintless dent repair. I don't think anybody's really spent enough time in those markets to really kind of explain and break it down and show them the proof in the pudding and what money that they can make.
Right.
I'm going to say this. So here's a little story. I did a $8,000 estimate on an F-150, all aluminum truck. Another guy came. They took my estimate. Another guy came in and fixed the whole thing in 3 days for $1,500. How do I compete with that? I can't.
No, but if your relationship was tighter, you wouldn't have lost the job.
Yeah.
Dude, my relationship is super tight. That body shop, the owner of that body shop I go hunting with him to Mexico.
But you didn't get the job.
I can't beat it. Like,
So he repaired
I
it,
literally
painted it, and everything for
told the owner,
$1,500?
I said, dude, you couldn't, there's no way. I'd rather
So he
sit in a
paint-
Walmart parking lot
Yeah.
and with a sign saying $75 dent repair,
So you're saying that body shop repaired it and painted it for $1,500?
No, they had another dent guy in Arizona come in and fix it for $1,500, and it took him 3 days. Like, so you make $500 a day.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense for me,
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Arizona is a tricky market. Like, there's a lot of guys that, I mean, I know at least 4 different guys, Dave Shutt's age, that will do dents for $300 in retail market.
yeah.
And me and Dave are doing them for $1,200.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky market. You need the right customer. You need the customer that looks at the finished product.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is those other techs are doing it for $300. They're not like hacks, so they're not going to do a horrible job. But it's just a crazy market. It's like a retirement state.
Yeah. That's I mean, that's that age-old question. How do you battle that? I mean, it's one of those.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, but
I got a question for you. Any pros
yeah.
or cons or advice of the vacuum tower you guys are making for pulling? This is a body guy, so
I mean, the pros is honestly that plate. We reinforced the base of it, right? So you're gonna see like a bunch of like looks like vines, if you will, or veins going down it. So what we found out that if you get any kind of twist or anything in that base of the plate, that's when you kind of get that where it breaks and goes loose, right? If you will. We reinforced the base. It does have infinite adjustment, which is huge. A lot of guys are kind of new to that, right? Because most of the pole towers, they just have like a winch and you just go, go, go. Sometimes that
Mhm.
last click might be too much. So we have that little knob that you'll find pretty much like on our beams, if you will. So what that does is it allows you to kind of dial it in. Once you get to that rough out, that big move, you just need a little bit more tension. We have a nod that'll give you infinite adjustment. All right, so that's another like huge benefit to our tower as well. We have a crown holder. All right, so if you got blowouts on a quarter panel or even a fender, when you're starting to pull, them weaker areas on the panel, they kind of want to pull with it, right? So you can put that crown holder on it, and it'll keep everything in position as well. So I mean, it's a fantastic tower. It really is.
On the door as well.
Yeah, twist as well, especially a door. If you're pulling like in the middle of a door, somewhere kind of low, it wants to twist out that door. You can put that crown holder on it, and it'll keep it in position. So kind of like that double action, kind of what we talk about. So, yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic tower. It really is.
I feel like that crown holder would work great for like a PDR guy with a blown out fender trying to keep the edge
Exactly.
from
That's
tearing
it. Blown
more.
out. Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
That's exactly what it's for.
this guy.
Yep.
do
So
you still need a compressor with it?
you do need a compressor with it. Yep.
Do
Now,
you think
go
that
ahead.
you guys will?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, you got our awesome engineer, Reggie, and Chris
nice.
Lawson. Those guys are working on that as we speak.
That's
Yep.
the one
So
I'm getting.
eventually,
Then.
yeah. So yeah, we'll have to dial that into. We just want to make sure we don't get to the point where we're putting out a product and it's just popping off on you guys. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
the worst. It's so frustrating. All right, and that's
Yeah,
why
that's,
sometimes it takes us a minute to get out a product because, dude, we gotta test it. Right? I
Yeah.
mean, if it doesn't perform, then it's a black eye, right?
And
You
we
don't want
said it
that.
earlier. I don't think there's enough field testing on some of the products lately. In the last 3 years, I feel like products are rushed to the market so fast because they
It
don't want
is.
them to be knocked
Mhm.
off, or hey, they
Yep.
got the same thing or whatever.
Yep. Or while you're working on it, somebody's thinking of something similar. So then, and that's where I don't get into the whole rip off battle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tools. We're creating tools for the same purpose. So yes, some stuff is going to be similar.
I will be
Right.
honest. I think the rip off battle is I mean, those guys, they're not testing nothing.
Yeah.
Because I've bought in some of that stuff and it's broken within a week. I mean, I bought a hammer once and I was using it the first time and it blew up, like the head, the whole handle just blew up.
Right.
And the head of it was metal and it scratched the car.
Oh, that's no good.
And like, dude, what do I do? I put it on Instagram and I got a lot of kickback from that, but what, like, a lot of Dent guys were like, thanks for letting me know,
Yeah. Right.
but
Yeah. And we try
Short
to
story.
eliminate some of those stuff. I mean, sometimes during manufacturing, something might get missed and maybe one of the tools don't perform like it should. But man,
Mhm.
we 100% stand behind our tools. So that's one of the things I love about working for this company. I mean,
Yeah.
no questions asked. I mean, if you have an issue, I mean, we're going to make it right.
Dude, a buddy of mine broke his K-beam or K-bar.
Yeah.
And I was like, just text Danny. And
Yeah,
I gave him
Danny,
your
right? Yeah.
number and right away, like, fix. Like,
Got to, man.
I mean,
It's-
dude, like, Kiko's the
Got to.
best the customer service of Kiko is the best in the industry, in my opinion.
You got to.
Most of them are pretty good. There's a lot of
Yeah.
them that are pretty good. Some of them
Yeah.
don't care.
Ultra's
you know?
been good for me.
Pro
but-
PDR.
No, they're not good.
I'll say it every time. Every time. I try not to be negative, but I'm also
Their
honest.
lights
if the
catch
tool's
on
shit.
fire.
Yep.
So let's get back on track about MTE, about what
Yeah.
you guys are dropping and what you have coming in, because it seems like there's a lot
Now-
of people here that are really looking. So what do you got going
Now-
on? What else next?
Dave
One more
Shalot's in
thing
the
before I
house.
bring my special guest on, the brains behind us all. All right. Now, John Vadine is now having us run the Dent Reapers in the nylon. So, guys, these are really good.
Dude, he was
Nylon, so polycarbonate. Now we have the Reapers in the nylon material. So, man, these are fantastic tabs. It's a different pole, right? So
I will. Can I add to that?
Yeah.
Dave Shalot was telling me about the nylon of Kiko when he was working with you guys, and it is like the best for aluminum.
Dude,
The nylon
using
is
it's
it pulls
amazing.
aluminum.
Is it because it
Very
flexes?
well.
Yeah, it's
I don't-
flexible.
Yeah,
I mean, and you can
I don't know the science.
All right, so the beautiful thing about the nylon material is you can oversize the tab, so you can get more
Yeah.
surface area.
Yeah,
Like if it's polycarbonate, right? It's a rigid tab, so it's going to pull more of the face. The nylon material is maximum flexibility, so even if you have a bigger tab on it, it's still going to cone from the center because it's flexible. So that's one of the
Okay.
beautiful things with that nylon material. So keep it.
that's what Dave was telling me. Is like use a little bigger tab on an aluminum dent, like,
Yeah.
and you'll get
That's
a
it.
great pull.
Are
You
they
know,
available at
that's-
MTE?
Yes. Yep. They'll be
Yeah,
available at
that's a-
MT. Yep.
That's a must grab for me at
Yep.
MT for sure.
And then one more thing before I bring on my special guest.
Ooh,
It's my
Now
first
these,
buy.
now I know guys out there probably order these and are like, "Dadgummit, he's got one in his hand and I'm on back order." These, dude, they
you better
flew off
send
the
that my
shelf.
way.
Listen, they took off like, and it's a great tool, man. It's a great tool. It makes sense, right? So we should have had more made, right?
That was an issue.
Yeah, so we do have them. They're coming, but we did save 30 of them for MTE.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Well, I'm taking
and I
two.
got a couple
Yeah.
guys that I have kind of hid a few of them for to make sure that they get theirs. But definitely come
Yeah.
check out the bed cap tool. Brandon Schmidt, dude, I'm so glad that
Yeah.
he's had this for 5 years, and I'm so
crazy.
glad that he was like, you know what, tired of waiting. Let's get this tool on the market, and man, it's fantastic. I'm
You
so
guys
happy for
solved
Brandon. So happy
a
for him.
big. You guys solved a big issue in the PDR community with that tool.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, this is great.
That was a
dude.
big
It's-
issue, like the bed caps.
Yeah.
I
fantastic.
always was trying to use like the black handle dent craft tool to like hook behind it
Right.
and not
Yeah.
break them.
Mm-hmm.
So is that working on Dodge and Chevy?
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. So another thing I want to, in case some guys are watching and they're not real familiar with it, when you're using this tool, it's not a pry tool because it's bendable, right? See, so if I want to get into a different shape
wow.
or whatever, okay, so you can bend it. I was using this on a door trim the other day, which is fantastic. So don't use it as a pry tool. So when you're taking that bed cap off, make sure that you have one hand holding tension and you're just wiggling it. So you can see with the teeth
Okay.
right here, you're going to push one side, a little bit of pressure, pull back, pop the other side, and work your way down. Don't pry, right? That's when you break the clips, is when you start to pry on it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's not a pry tool, but it is a fantastic clip removal tool for sure.
That one's
And
a
it bends-
discounted one
look,
now.
look how nice it bends back.
Look at that discounted one. That's
That
50%
is
off.
I got
huge.
you, dude. I got you, dude. I take care of my Ryan Shutt. All right, now we have some hammers, and I want to bring the guy on who's the brains behind these hammers, and I want him to explain why he created the hammers. Okay, so
Mhm.
right here we have Kevin Andrews. Come on in. He
Damn,
flew
look
in
at it.
all the way from the UK
Going there.
just to do this podcast.
You crazy. Don't even lie to me. You're so
Wow.
full of
I'm
shit
just
today.
saying, man. I'm just saying.
What's up, brother?
Good to see you, Ryan. How you
What's
doing?
up, Kevin?
How you going? All right.
All on, before you talk, great job. That hammer, the first hammer that I got,
Yep.
the balance is right. The feel is right. I use it all the time now. It's a freaking fantastic hammer.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear. I'm a little bit annoyed at the moment because Danny's put a light up in ahead of everything, and
You gotta have good.
but look,
It looks great right
Got you,
there.
dude. I got you, dude. How about the sauce?
There you go,
like
there
the
you
soft
go.
part?
Now you got a suntan.
there we go. It's been
You
a
got
while.
You're from the Jersey Shore.
Let's take care of Okevi over here.
Still,
Here's the
Oh
ball.
shit.
still bad. Still bad.
You just
So-
need a Kiko hat.
I did. Yeah,
No, I gotta get some more.
I've got a silly hat.
I kind of worked through all my Kiko hats going in the body shop, so gotta get some
That'll
more.
happen.
Yep.
So
Yep.
how did this whole thing come about? Your whole run of hammers there, Kev?
Do you want the honest answer or the the one we can talk about? I'm sure Chris won't mind me saying this, but he beat me up. I was a big fan of the Craftsman and Vaughan hammers. I'm an ex-Dent Wizard guy from 25 years ago, and that's what we got given. So it was just something that worked well for me. Dave Schlott can take some of the blame as well, because he probably was the first one to shove that hammer in my hand 25 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, Chris was like, "Hey, if this thing's so good," and I said, "Well, it's not. It's flawed, but it just fits. You know, you've been working for something for that long."
Perfect.
And he said, "Well, we're a manufacturing company. Manufacture something." So I'm part of the engineering team. I join up with them every week. And we started the project of designing these hammers, and a lot more thought has gone into them than probably first, it's first obvious. It's like a build your own hammer scenario. Some guys like a light head, some guys like a heavy head. This head here, this is the steel head. This is exactly the same weight as the Craftsman or the Vaughan, which everyone's used to. So it's quite weird when you pick this up and you've got a Vaughan hammer next to you. You look at it, you think, oh, that's quite weighty. Then you pick the Vaughan up and you're like, oh, do you know what? It's around the right size. Now I'm very, very analytical. I train back in the UK. I watch people using tools and just see how their body alters when they're picking a tool up. And what I found was the Vaughan hammer is quite a lot wider at the head, so it sits taller. So what's actually happening is, let's see if we can demonstrate it on here. When I've got that hammer down there, my wrist is resting on the panel, and that hammer is dead flat, so it's coming down square. With the Vaughan, it's coming in at an angle. So, or to try and get flat, people are having to raise their wrist up, and that's a really unnatural position to be in. And you're seeing guys when they're picking these up for the first time, you can see the fatigue. They're not particularly comfortable. You've got that sharp edge that sits into the palm of your hand. And the other thing, the most important thing is, I train with fog, so we always want our eyes to be parallel with our fog. As soon as you lift your hand up, your head alters.
Yeah.
So you without realizing it, this movement affects everything else. So it was a case of trying to make this head as slim as possible. And you'll see on the tips that go, some of the tips we've done, these are actually a lot shorter than the standard tips. Again, just to keep that height down as low as we possibly can. So we started off, the plastic version was the first version. And weirdly enough, a heck of a lot of work goes into these. The molds. I didn't have a clue about molds until I first came over to the plant, and you see the size of those things. They are there's electronics in them. They're water cooled. There's so much that goes into them. So we went through quite a few different. Although it's just a hammer handle, we went through quite a few different versions. We had the ribs running all the way down. Problem is when you're articulating the hammer, what was doing it was rubbing against your index finger. So it was becoming a little bit uncomfortable. So we smoothed it off, but then you lost the grip. So then we made this half and half. So this is rotating nicely now, but when you've got your finger out, you've got a little bit more grip in the top there. The head, obviously, we've spoke about that being a lot shorter. We've got our soft and our hard tips, so the geometry on these is really, really nice. And then I don't know whether other guys are like this, but there used to be a seam line on the Vaughan hammer, and I used to grind that down so I could use the knockdown like this. If I'm using a metal knockdown for finishing up, I would always be using metal to metal in this orientation. A lot of guys are using paddles, so it was like, okay, well, why don't we make a striking area on this face that we can use like this, but then on the other side we have a lever insert as well, so you have that paddle style knock as well. So that was that, and then we went into I'm going to say it wrong now, the
Aluminium.
Minium, the aluminum one. So yeah, they have the a lot lighter head. Now, obviously, when you start increasing the length of the hammer, the last thing you want is a real heavy, or you'd think you wouldn't want a real heavy head on there. Danny was over with us last June,
I think so. Yeah,
mid last year, and we were doing some training videos and some sizable damage. And to be honest with you, this steel head on this 12-inch hammer was actually working really, really nice.
It wasn't bad.
It was, it just worked well. But we get it. These are a lot longer. Guys don't want to be swinging around a real heavy hammer for a period of time. So the aluminium head came in. Now what we had to do is sink a steel plate in there so we can still use.
Oh, that's a fucking great setup.
Wow.
Dude, that's it. Interchangeable.
What's the price on that set?
I mean, you come holler at me, dude. Just holler at me.
Are you guys selling it like that?
We
You can sell the set like that?
Yeah, we got to get a SKU for it. I don't think we have yet, but that was our plan. That was the sole purpose of the interchangeable heads and different links and stuff like that, to make it like a system, if you will, hammer system.
Dude,
Well, you better figure that out, because that's going to
that
sell at
is-
MTE. That whole thing,
That's
the foam
amazing.
setup and everything's going to sell just like that. Watch.
Okay,
If not, it's going to get stolen.
So yeah, so that was the plan. It's just so hard because there's so many moving parts, right? So, but yes, that is the plan. That will probably be an option. I'm gonna call Scott right after this and be like, well, looks like we're gonna have that for MTE.
He's going to hate you.
Yeah,
I mean, that is.
Blame it on me.
I will.
It was Ryan's fault.
I will. But yeah, but go ahead. I mean, even
Now, what is the
That is
difference from the blue handle,
That's
the
nice.
blue knob, and the black knob? Any difference there?
The color.
color.
Okay,
That's it.
okay.
Color.
Yeah.
Me personally, I like black on the carbon fiber
I
with
do.
the aluminum head. I mean, that's just I love it.
But again,
Insane.
it's that easy identifying if you've got a couple of different hammers in you.
Well, you could have the aluminum head blue and the steel head black.
And people mix it up, changing around. Just giving a few people some options.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the other one we've got as well is this little one here. So this is a really, really light head. So this was more as an extendable striker, but you've actually like it as a hammer as well, don't you? So again,
hammer.
there's no right or wrong to the tools. If they work for you, then great. But what we did, if you pass the little striker plate over.
Which one? This one here?
No, the one below.
Oh wow!
So we made this. So obviously now that can screw
Oh man!
on top of here, and now we have a very solidly fixed. You can change this tip out, put whatever you want in there. If you're used to the peak tips.
Those are the pivot tips that you had on there,
Yes,
right?
those are the pivot tips. Yeah. So you got
Those
the
are
dome
great
and the flat one.
tips.
They are. And now we have a nice extension for working with as well. But again, there's nothing stopping you from using this as a hammer in its own right. So there's just so many different variables.
Yeah.
How long is that hammer you had in your hand, Kevin?
12. This was a 12.
No, the other
That's the 12. The longest one
16.
is 16.
Yeah.
16
8,
inches.
12, and 16.
And listen, we'll have all the components in the carts like this, so guys
Okay.
can come by the booth and just literally build what they want.
I mean,
And
for
they-
a light head with a 16-inch hammer, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Because the heavier the head with a longer hammer, the harder, like the fatigue is just ridiculous. So
this
it
is
needs
so
to be light.
too. So light.
But even against that, with the aluminum head, see what I did there? Aluminum. You know, there is even these. There's just a touch difference in weight, but it's enough that someone will say, "Yeah, I like that one." You know, people are very particular about it. I mean, we've been blessed with lots and lots of different hammers in our industry, and it was kind of for me, it was a bit of a tough design process because obviously there is, you know, oh, here we go, another hammer.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure, you know, I'm very particular, and I just wanted to make sure that we were delivering something that was actually going to work for the end user. One thing we probably haven't spoken about is the tips as well. These, if you haven't tried these, you've got to give these a go. These come as a full set. There's a set of 6.
Yes.
So
What are these?
These are probably these off.
Now, how do they compare to the ultra red cap that takes forever to push through?
Right. These are, if you have a look at, these are super thick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So probably...
going up to this one here.
Oh,
you
there's
know, these
sizes.
are.
Yeah,
these
you have
are,
different sizes of thickness.
Yeah.
Yes.
So six different, and they've got the groove on. So you know when they clip on, you can actually hear the physical pop as they go on. So there's, you know, when you're popping them down doors and you're pulling your tool out, you know, they're not going to drop off and drop down the bottom of the door. But I think they are also.
I will say this small one. I mean, if you're cranking on it, because it's such thin walled, I mean, you will eventually
break it.
Eventually, it will.
How do they do with heat?
I was using this tip today, actually, and all week I've been using that soft tip, pushing and side loading. It is the best on the market. Like when I side load with my double bend, it is the best because you could hear that. You know, you could hear it when it attaches. It will not slip off like other.
And the nice thing about these,
the ultra red clip, the cap, when I first got it, it was amazing, but I ordered a new batch and they started slipping off like that when I was side loading,
locking on. Yeah,
I don't know.
That's one of his.
I don't know why that happens, but Kiko's blue cap soft tip it's where it's at right now.
And wherever this touches as well, you're going to get the same type of push because the tip below it, you know, it's perfectly rounded. So no matter where you're side loading, top loading, whatever you're doing with this tip, you're going to get the same push. You know, a lot of this stuff is, for me, developed for trainees. So I want to make sure the trainees are having, you know, as easy a time as possible trying to learn our craft. And it just makes it better. You know, the amount of people that I've had in for advanced training that you say, oh, you know, what are you pushing that out with? And they haven't got a clue what's even on the end of their tool. Like, how can you be, you know, build your plan, build your process. You need to know exactly what you're pushing with.
Now, Alex, have you tried knocking down with one of them?
I haven't.
Bro, Kev, when we were over, we were using these on some pretty decent sized crowns, and it was
it's working good.
Dude, it's really nice. It's really nice. You should try that. So modularity, once again, I mean,
we have the little plastic one as well.
I will definitely try that. I will say that the hammer though, I've been knocking down, like I just use the hammer a lot now.
Yeah.
Those blue tips on that hammer are perfect. Like,
how do those tips do with heat?
Good. Yeah. They're you know, they wear really well. You know, there's enough material in there. You know, the larger ones especially. Obviously, when you go down to that small one, you just want to be a little bit careful on that.
Just thin.
Yeah.
But we do have we haven't got it here at the moment. We do have a plastic cap that clips on as well. So and it's nice. It actually rotates on the tip. So if you're doing, you know, I like to run along creases,
slide it
without having. But obviously, when I'm sliding around, you know, Kiko's all about protecting the backside of the panel, protecting the E-coat. The last thing I want to be is sliding a tool up and down and creating a problem. So having that rotating plastic tip enables us to do what we want to do without creating extra damage. So it's all these little things that, we may be a little bit slower to the marketplace, but when it comes to the marketplace, it should be, absolutely bang on.
Kevin, that is brilliant because, I mean, if you want to be a clean PDR technician, you have to like slide your tool and you have to move metal with sliding. If you just push everything, you're going to have a lot of cleanup work at the end.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's brilliant. Like,
is it nylon or is it plastic?
It's a nylon. I think. I'll have to find out exactly what it is. I'm pretty sure it's a nylon. But yeah, it clips on, and it's a really. You can take it off. It's a little bit. It's on there, so it's not going. Again, we didn't want something that you're halfway through rolling around and the blooming tip pops off when you create an issue. So it's got ears, and it physically clips onto the tip. So whale tail.
Yeah, you
just
can hear
pop
it really
off.
good.
There you go.
Yeah, they're on there. So, but yeah, they're great hammers, great tips, and come along and try them. See what you think. Put them in.
Come by and definitely check out these new strap tabs. Dude, they're fantastic, even for like smaller, sharp dents, right?
So they're the ones you can heat and bend for the body line.
Yes, you can
correct?
bend right here to match the body line. Super easy to bend too.
I haven't seen these.
Dude, you don't coat the whole surface. You only coat the front edge of this. So it's going to reduce, having two glue guns. Right? So you only coat about this much right here. This is free off the panel, right? So even if you're working on a lift gate that has that radius, sometimes it's harder to hook up a lateral tension tool because it's straight. What you can do, glue this edge down and now lift up and hook the shoe up. It's fantastic. You got to come by and see it.
That thing you just showed, what is that called? The smaller
K-Power
version.
Junior. K-Power Junior.
That's the one we gave away on my show, right?
That's the one I need.
That's the one.
Yeah,
I mean, I use these. Oh, geez, I don't do a training without them. It's just
with
really
those tabs though, and that K-Power Junior, man, that is an everyday tool almost.
This is the one, man. These are the tabs.
Now, do they come with the K-Power Junior or no?
They will. We're eventually going to put them into the SKUs so that way, they do come standard with the K-Power Junior.
How'd you come up with that tab with the groove in the bottom?
Well, before you'd have to coat the whole tab, right? And a lot of times, unless you had a plug-in glue gun, then battery ones, the cycle time on them is not the best. So you're fighting yourself towards the end coating a big tab like this. So what I did was I just cut out the spine of a centipede, and I only glued the front here, kind of like a strap. So like the nylon straps gave me the idea of like, all right, how do we, get to nylon straps, if you will. All right. So basically that's what I did. I just cut out the spine. We're going to have a mold. It's going to be all, machined in just like this. So you can bend the tab to fit the body line. And literally you only coat about this much of it. And when them shoes hook up, it'll slightly lift off the panel. So you're going to be able to see a gap right here. So there's no more diving, which is huge.
The other thing as well
that's a big deal.
As well, they're a cooler hook up to the panel, so the nylon straps hold a lot more heat.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get scorching on some of the lighter colored cars.
Blemishing is what,
It's it just stops that issue because you're dealing with the same material you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So it's a lot easier to get used to.
I highly recommend. You got to get those tabs.
They available MT?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna get those for sure.
Yeah, those are fantastic. But
Brandon Schmidt's calling that thing the midget power, and like I'm a midget, so I need that.
Dude, that's great.
I'm only 5'8". All right.
What are you guys excited for MT?
Seeing everyone.
Getting everything set up, and then seeing everyone. A lot of work goes into preparation and making sure you have all the stock. And
the other thing as well, you get numb to the products that you produce. So we've been dealing with these for the last year and a half, whatever, trying to bring all this stuff out. And it's only today when we were getting everything, you're like, dude, we've got so many more products than we've ever had.
Yeah.
And you always focus on the last new thing. You forget about the 20 other things that have come before that. So there's lots and lots of new stuff that people just haven't seen. We live in Facebook world or Instagram world, but that's only a small portion of our industry. So just meeting up with those techs that maybe are a little bit shy or aren't watching what's going on, and just leveling up, giving them the tools that's going to help them. We are techs, so we pour our heart and soul into making a tool that works for our brothers and sisters in the industry. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And
Hey,
congratulations to Scotty for the promotion.
That's right, dude. Moving
How
up.
about that? Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Moving up. I didn't get a promotion though. But keep in mind, there's only 30 of these, and I'll
take 2.
Okay, I gotta put.
I just want one, Danny. Can you save one for me?
All right,
So now
it's
you're
like
down.
a total of like.
You're down to
27.
35 now.
Yeah, well, no, I gotta save some.
Oh, he's got 30.
Couple other guys as well.
You got
So,
20.
You got 5 left.
I got 20. 20. So first come, first serve.
I'm going to buy them and mark them up 25% and sell them at the show.
On eBay,
Yeah.
One thing Danny forgot to mention on this tower as well, when we're talking about that, the biggest feature of it all, it articulates.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
Yes.
Yeah, don't
More
call
like
me
a
out
frame
on
That
that.
is
machine.
huge. Me and Ryan were talking about this, and that's his selling
Huge
point.
benefit.
Ryan wants that.
Yeah.
Because
of that.
like Mikey said, he was an auto body guy for 16 years, and he says that's more like the frame machines in a body shop. It can articulate to the side and pull at that angle. You were always stuck with it straight up and down and have to move the tower over. So I think it's great.
That's the thing, those finite adjustments, and especially with the seals on the bottom of them. So there's a couple of details in this that are often overlooked. When those towers are sat, they're sat constantly on the seal. So it can actually start to squash that seal plate. So we have a little mechanism at the back that you can flip over, and it raises the foot plate off the floor, so it keeps the seal in good condition. But it's a much larger footprint, so there's a higher volume of suction to the floor, which enables that drop. Because the last thing we want to be doing is you're working. You think you've got everything set up straight, and again, this is something that happened on that training we did last June. You think you've got the tower straight, and then you come around and look at it square on, and you're just a little bit off. Now, what do? Do you just pull anyway and create yourself a load of problems?
If it didn't tilt, yes, you would just probably more.
Or you release suction and try and kick the base plate across, obviously damaging the seal. So no, we can just slacken off the brace at the bottom, bend that arm over till we're in exactly the right place that we want, hook it up, and go pulling.
Now, is that thing when you're plugged in? Is it constantly running the air?
It is. That's purely and simply how the Venturis work. We are obviously looking at to get the suction we need. There are silent or quieter Venturis out there, but they're not. Obviously, there's always going to be a trade-off against one to the other. So if we want, we've got a tall tower. We're pulling a lot higher than most of the towers in the industry now. So yes, it's going to hiss, but we're on it as much as anyone else. So all the complaints that are coming about, they make a lot of noise. I hate hearing an airline hissing. It's one of my pet peeves. We are on the quest. As soon as we find something that's going to stop that, it will be inputted, but we won't do it for the we don't want the thing to fail. So we want it to be the best it can possibly be.
Now, would that be something that you could add to the unit you already have, or is that something that say you buy this now, is that going to be something that you can make work with?
You'd be able to retrofit it. It won't be. I mean, that's something that, if you notice something about what we do, we never produce something that eliminates your old tool.
Yeah.
You can always, it's always, something that can be
Retrofit,
adapted,
yep.
retrofitted,
Mhm.
even down to the full systems. If you had a
Okay.
level 1 from 5 years ago, and now you want a premium or whatever it is, you can buy the upgrade kit to enable you to have that.
Guys, real quick before we roll out, we have now adjustable kidney feet.
Oh wow.
Look at that for the robo.
No
Obviously, you can
way.
use it for the beans as
Dude,
well.
that
So
is.
freeze feet. Is
Isn't
that
it
they
the first
aluminum?
time? I haven't seen this at all.
This now listen, this is this came from Keith Constantino.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is fantastic. He's seen a need and man, he developed it. He killed it.
Dude.
So this is great. Especially, I usually use like a slapper to kind of shim the feet.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you ain't gotta do that no more. And this can be,
Imagine that with the edge jack.
yeah. It's fantastic. So look how much more depth you get if you're off center.
Dude.
Are
Body
they
lines,
aluminum or plastic?
they're aluminum.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So once
That's a
again,
must
Robo,
get.
the beams.
Will those be at MTE?
Yes, they will be at
Okay.
MTE. These will probably go really quick as well. So you can put them on
Oh,
the crease
yeah.
feet as well.
Yeah. Save me one.
Gotcha.
Save me
I
some.
got you. All right, so I
The,
gotta save you clip tools. I
Kevin,
gotta
the-
save you that and a K power. Those K powers will probably go quick too. I think we only have like 15 of them.
I just
Kevin,
want
the
that.
towel-
I want that
the-
hammer set up with the foam. So that's
I want
not
the
going
hammer
home with you.
set up. I want those feet he just showed, and I want his tower, but mobily. I want it with a battery. I don't want to use a compressor.
Nobody fixes cars mobily anymore.
I got you.
I do.
got you.
I
got
do.
you.
A lot of guys
got
do,
you.
Kevin. A lot of guys do.
Oh,
The minute that becomes battery operated, it'll be best tower on the market,
You got it, dude. I'm
Hands
calling
down.
Reggie right after this. Don't worry.
hands down.
But
Super
guys,
excited for that.
I appreciate you coming on. I just wanted to get some tools dropped to where you
Yeah.
did your little video, but I think this was a little more descriptive, and
yeah,
we got Captain Kevin there, so now we
That's
really
right.
got the explanation.
that's right.
Captain Kev.
I was excited to see you. That was great. That was great.
Yeah, that was awesome. The hammer, by the way, Kevin, is
Yes.
by far like the best hammer I've,
Yeah,
I've
it's
bought
it's beautiful.
in a long time.
No, that's
So-
good to hear. It's, in a market that's flooded with hammers,
Yes,
It's
It is
different.
it's not an
best
easy one to
hammer.
achieve.
No,
It's totally
I was
different.
I was talking to Bryce Kelly about this hammer, and because when I went and trained with him, he put the Craftsman hammer or Vaughn hammer back in my hand, and I was like, I used this for 7 years, and so I left it, but I went back to it, and I was talking about your hammer, and he was like, I was telling him about the steelhead hammer.
Yeah.
It's like it's the exact same weight. It feels the exact same, but better. And he's
It
like,
just feels
there's a-
more. It's more comfortable. It just fit. It's designed
Yeah.
for what we do rather
Yeah.
than
he
we
didn't
don't hold a hammer like this.
Yeah, exactly.
We hold it
Yep. He didn't know that there was a steelhead one.
right.
He only had the aluminum head one. And I was like, no, dude,
Okay.
you need the steelhead one.
We need to
And-
sort that out.
Yeah. Yeah, he needed the steelhead. But
It's the weight, the
it's the weight.
balance.
for knocking down the steelhead, the 8 inch it's 8 inches, right? The one you're
Yes.
holding.
Mhm.
Yeah.
8, 12, and
That-
16.
I don't
Yeah,
have
that-
that. I don't have
It just
the standard.
That
drives.
is-
You get that drive out of it. So that's
Oh,
what you
yeah.
want.
It's the best hammer that you could buy right now, for sure.
It's about also the inertia into the panel. The tips, the way the tips have been designed is to when
Mhm.
you could be if you use a hammer too light on when you're trying to lose a lot of metal, you're just going to end up dimpling that painted surface.
Yep.
So you've got to allow, when the inertia hits the panel, you want the metal to react, not the paintwork. So
Yep.
it's getting that weight. I'm one of those guys. I have I had, until this came out, a bunch of different hammers sitting in my cart that all did different things, and I'm
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
going to be a one hammer, one knockdown guy. So I'm always going to match my knockdown tool. And the thing is, knockdowns, they're knocking down is as if not more important than pushing.
Yeah.
If we're not keeping those highs and crowns under control, why do we want to be? Well, this soft tip here, when we start using that on a crown, that's going to take it down really, really smooth. these big tips here, again, Danny said it earlier, you know, for using these on crown work, they just move a ton of metal so fast. And if the crown isn't that big, you just put the next size on and you can drop down to whatever size, so you can match the tool tip with the job you're actually doing rather than trying to make do.
That makes sense.
That's awesome.
Well, good job, man.
That's what we need in this industry, you know.
So
You guys need to get to sleep. You got a lot of work to do in
I
a couple
know.
days.
I'm exhausted. He ain't been working at all today. I have.
He only flew like 24 hours to get here or something, I'm sure.
First class. Don't give me that.
That's Captain Kevin. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I'll see you in a couple days.
Yeah.
yeah, looking forward to it. Looking
All
forward
right.
to it.
See you guys.
All right.
See
Take
you
care.
guys later.
Good.
That was good.
That was good.
That was good.
Dude, I gotta say those gear tabs are becoming one of
They
my
are.
favorites. You know,
We Vince. Oh my gosh.
what do you say?
Oh shit. That's funny.
Dave Shalot's pretty good at it too. I guess Dave's saying he's gonna work the Kiko booth.
You know, it's there's some cool products. There's a lot of new stuff that's dropped, and but I'm telling you, if you guys drop that whole set with the foam that would fit in a pack out,
Dude, that would be
you
awesome.
better watch out. You better watch out.
Man.
Good luck.
If
keeping them
it
on the
wasn't
shelf.
like, if it was discounted to like be, I mean, how much do you think they could sell that for? Like, that's a lot.
You could
of
probably
stuff.
sell the whole set for $500.
$500. I was
I'm
thinking
probably way
1,000.
off.
I was thinking 1,000.
I'm probably way off because there was.
I was thinking $1,000.
4 handles. So yeah,
I couldn't
I'd buy
add
it.
up, but
I'd
if it
buy
was like $800, I'd buy it. I mean, that's everything you need like that's the best hammer system that a PDR guy could buy.
Yeah.
So,
And just I'm saying this. I have 2 of them. I don't have the
I have
steel
2,
version.
yeah. I got,
but it is.
I do.
I handed it to Josh, and Josh was like, "Okay." You know, you just know, like when you pick it up, you're just like, "Okay." So I know he said he was gonna buy one at MTE. So you know, I'm tired.
Oh yeah.
But you guys, we'll see you in a couple days, and
Next week.
I'm excited. It's gonna be fun.
So
A lot of work.
Earlier in the show, you were saying the podcast row's gonna move spot.
We were talking about it. We were talking about doing Friday at the entrance. So when everybody's coming in, you're doing a show right there to kind of grasp and keep people entertained as they're walking through the door, and then Saturday moving inside. I'm not sure. They're trying to figure out the fire marshal and spots, and you know, it's some logistical end that we'll know. I'll probably know by Monday.
Okay.
So I'll post it in that Facebook group for all the podcasters to really know where it's going. The good thing is we got all the equipment squared away. We got the internet squared away. So that's exciting that, you know, we could get that handled this year.
Yeah, that's good.
But make sure you guys come see us. It'll be a good time. You know, we do have
Ryan's buying beer for everyone. So
we got a little bit of
definitely come see him.
refreshments there for the podcasters. It'll be fun, man. It'll be fun. And the DAP party after for what is that, Friday night should be awesome. Excited for that. But it should be a good time, man. It really should. We will see you guys next week, and let's have fun.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
Alex, I'll see you in a couple days.
Schmidt better not call me a midget when he sees me, but
Hey, you
know.
said you were a midget, so he can
I
only,
know. I am.
you know.
5'8". Well, Dave Shalott stuck up for my own saying.
I think you're a little slow, not so much a midget, just a little slow.
A little slow. I got maybe a little form of autism, you know.
Lots of autism for you. So, all right, guys, you keep it real. I will see you on the next one, and we'll see you in a couple days.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Dent Digest. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. For more information or to connect with your hosts, find them on social media at RPS Dent Specialist and at Arizona Paintless Dent Repair. If you found value in today's episode, please share with others. And until next time, this has been the Dent Digest Podcast.